Good morning guys, how are you going? Welcome to episode 9 of the vlog. Apologies for not uploading a video last week. The weather at West Head for the Battle of the Bridge was absolutely horrendous. My videos didn't record, it was too wet to get the camera out, so yeah, really not that successful last week. Anyway, not keen to talk to you about racing today. We do have a race on Saturday afternoon down at Randwick, Battle of the Bridge, but we'll talk about that a little bit later or next week. Keen to talk to you guys today about something that's fairly close to my heart, which is how do I balance training, working full time and 2 young kids. I see this question asked quite a bit on forums and that type of thing. You know, how can I train for a particular event? I don't have a lot of time available to me. How am I meant to structure? How can I get long rides in? That type of stuff. And look, I'm no professional and certainly no coach, but my experience is that, you know, I've raced at state level and know what it takes to get to a fairly decent standard from you know, as little as 5 hours training a week. So look, in my opinion, you can definitely, as I said, I think you can definitely train for events like the TAP Australia, or I mean, I'm training for the Seaview Classic in, oh geez, that's a bit dark, under those trees. I'm training for the Seaview Classic at the moment, which is at the end of October. You know, that's my target race at the moment. It's going to be a hard race, 193 kilometres and 3,900 metres of vertical, so with a monstrous climb in the middle. So look, you know, it's definitely a hard event, but that's what I'm working on at the moment, and you know, really trying to do a lot of my training on the turbo trainer basically. So anyway, what are the kind of the first most important thing that I think to be successful with a limited time available to you from a training perspective? So in my opinion, you need to have all of these 5 things, but the most important thing that I think you can have is dedication and motivation. And the reason I say dedication and motivation, I think dedication is the most important thing, because motivation can leave you at any point. You know, you can get crook, you can be off the bike for a week, you can feel like you don't want to train, and then it's hard to get that motivation back. However, you can always be dedicated and you can always work hard at something. And that dedication is what's going to get you through those hard times from a training perspective. You know, getting up at 5 AM in the morning when it's 4 degrees outside and it's colder in the garage, I think that makes, you know, dedication is what's going to get you through that session. Or when your coach has set some horrendous session on the ergo, which you absolutely know is going to suck. Yeah, it can be pretty uninspiring to wake up early in the morning when it's cold, knowing that you've got to go and completely wreck yourself to get this session done. So motivation is important, but I think dedication is more important. Alright, tip number 2. Well, if you guys are looking to be really effective during your training, my best advice is to get a coach. Now, I use the guys over at FTP Training. I've been with Mark Fenner for a number of years now. He's very well known here in Australia. But basically, get a coach who's going to sit down with you, be it over the phone, face to face, whatever it may be, and it's going to work out how you can build some structure into your days, into your weeks, into your months, so that you can train really, really effectively. So, you know, I've got 2 young kids, I work a full-time job, I'm editing these videos. You know, all of this type of stuff takes time. So how can you get the best bang for your buck? How can you get the most out of your time and build the most structure into your daily training plan? So my second piece of advice would be to get a coach. That's easily the best thing I ever did, and I saw massive gains immediately. And I used to be like the type of guy who would ride hard every session, wouldn't do recovery very well, and yeah, and I can remember the first couple of things that Mark did for me was to ride, do a couple of training sessions a week where I was focused on tempo efforts, and my FTP went up almost immediately. It was unreal. Tip number 3 from me, to really get the most out of your training time, for me, you've got to either invest in a turbo trainer, a smart trainer basically. I've got a Wahoo Kicker Generation 1. Easily the best thing I ever paid for. It has revolutionised my training. There is no easy sessions anymore. There is no what's the word? There's no wasted sessions. I think that's the most important thing. Like, you know, go on a training ride, go for a ride, training ride, whatever. You know, if you're with your mates, you're riding at their tempo, not that there's anything wrong with that, it's cool, but you know, or you're out on the road, you're coasting to the lights, you might be trying to do a bit of an effort, and then there's a small, you know, it could be a descent that you've got to deal with, or a small rise in the road, or you know, something like that that potentially ruins the effort, and there's none of that consistency. You know, kicker, Zwift, big game changer. Every single session is super targeted, and you're really going to absolutely get the best bang for buck that you can investing in something like that. It doesn't have to be a kicker, Neo, a number of other options out there which are really good value for money as well. Elite drivers, that type of thing. So yeah, definitely not an endorsed product, but yeah, I really like my Wahoo kicker. Alright, tip number 4 for how to maximise your training time. You got yourself a kicker, hopefully you got a coach. If you haven't, then you can still use the structured training sessions that are provided from apps like Zwift, which I talked about a bit earlier, Trainer Road, Sufferfest, all of those types of things. But basically, look, I'm a big Zwift fan. There's an awesome community on there here within Australia, but also overseas. So I'm part of the Dirt E-Club, I guess, if you want it called. So dads indoors riding trainers. But get on any of those sessions or any of those apps, they will really help dial in your training sessions and make indoor training that a little bit more interesting. You know, the more you kind of put into your indoor training setup around dedicated computer, TV screen, for example, you know, so you have Spotify for your music, a couple of fans, then it makes it that much more interesting and engaging to do. So highly recommend getting on one of those apps. Zwift is my preferred app of choice. Not an endorsement, obviously, but yeah, definitely recommend it. Alright, and my final tip for how to make the most use of your time when you're training, when you've got a young family, is don't be afraid to get on the turbo either late at night or early in the morning. I've started sessions before on Zwift at 8:30, 9 p.m. Hello mate, you having a good time? Yeah. I started sessions before as late as 9 p.m. and you know, getting up at 4, half 4, 5 a.m. to get sessions done as well. So as long as you're the type of person who can sleep after doing a workout, I find getting on there at 8:30 at night really effective. And again, you know, you're just maximising the session. You can't ride on the road, well you can ride at the road at 8:30 p.m. but if you're like me and you've got kids to put to bed and all the rest of it, then again, later in the evening is a really good opportunity to do so. Alright, thanks for watching this video guys. If you enjoyed it, please obviously like, subscribe, do all the usual things, and we'll have more racing videos, more training type videos coming up in the next couple of weeks.